Testing, testing, testing. Here we go. What's good? What's good, family? What's good? Peace to Copper Empress in the building. We're glad to get a hold of you. Peace to everybody in the building. We got the one and only Chief Holiday, Clay in his prime in the building. The truth is here. We got Mr. Thompson in the building at work, putting work in. How you doing, sir? Ghost in the building. What up, Ghost? Can't do a show without you, fam. How y'all doing? Yeah, we got sniped. I kind of knew it was going to happen like that, but it's okay. I'm about to go in. About to go in pretty deep. But the name of this one is actually called Metaphysics Mathematics and why your logic is limited. We got the Rand in the building. What up? Now, the purpose of this is for you to question your own logic and know that your logic is limited. I got you. I'm gonna address that also because I appreciate the family too, and also, you know, I want to let everybody know we finna go to another toll. We finna go to another toll, y'all. We finna go to a whole nother paradigm. But yeah, thanks for everybody coming out. If you want to, you can call this the Sideboards. Nonetheless, in the building, the Sideboards theory or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But the purpose of it is for not for you to believe what I say. I'm not here to try to influence you. I am not here to tell you nothing that you don't already know. And if we want to get technical, chances are majority of you are probably more smarter than me. And so, but the overall purpose is for you to question your own logic. And it also has to do with why we're not building, and why we're not building as much as we should is because of the logic that they teach us. But first, let me make some things clear, and let me let you know the family know I'm out here. I appreciate everybody, and we're going to be moving to a new paradigm pretty soon. Those of you who follow us on Periscope and Twitter, because we're coming live today from YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, we appreciate it. Hashtag Tribe Up, you can find it. Now, first off, I want to start off with us having logical business sense. Before I get in, I want to get some stuff off my chest because we need to have logical business sense when we're dealing with each other. It don't take a high educated person to understand simple logic business sense. It is very simple. If you sell t-shirts and I sell pencils, it is very logical that, you know, if it is very logical that we have a simple logical understanding where we don't even need to talk about it. I automatically know, okay, when I go on the platform, I make sure that I shout out my brother's pencils or my brother's t-shirts or whatever. It's very logical. Now I don't know if people been putting together what's been going on. And I know there's a lot of new people and they not real familiar with everything that's going on. But a lot of us been here for a while and we know exactly what's going on when we're dealing with the movement, when we're dealing with 5,000 Elite. Now I'm gonna get this little stuff off my chest before I go in. Hopefully I don't be here too long. And hopefully my camera cut on so I can actually be in the view. Now, Um, the reason why I say this is because, we finna get automated, and I've been telling everybody, but I haven't been throwing it in your face. I've been giving little trinkets. I've been giving little subtle hints. I've been giving little, subliminal comments, hoping that the real people who understand what's going on will pick up on it, which halves. Hoping, that other people will pick up on it as well. Now, and I talk about a lot of this stuff nonchalant, but if you don't pick up on it, you don't understand it. And I talked about how I have elected officials in my family, in my city. My name, it means something. So I'm very selective who I associate myself with. I'm very selective on what I deal with. But when it comes to the people, my people, I have extra patience. But with other, it might be a different story. And so I've been showing people things here and there. We even did a show where I called up the consulate in Mexico. And I spoke with somebody from Mexico, and I told them I want to get dual citizenship, and I told them I want to do business with Mexico. Now, some of you haven't seen that show, but some of you have. Now, many of you might look at that and say, "Oh, that was just an episode of the Cyborg Show or whatever the hell you think we're doing. This is real life." I told you multiple times. I showed you I have an elected official in my family. So at least once or twice a year, a family member or my family is in a newspaper here. At least once or twice a year, my family or family member is on our state news station here. You can look it up. Just Google it. My last name, VETAW. You could just Google it, and it will come up. You can also Google Latricia if you want to, whatever you want to be. So I don't talk about it a lot. And I also been telling people, okay, we're doing business in China, we're doing business in India. I also been telling people that we're finna start working with the Somalians. Here in Minneapolis, we have the highest population of Somalians in the whole country. But many of you is like, yeah, many people is so used to hearing people talk shit that they don't know when people saying some real shit. Y'all hear me talk about the 5,000 elite, and I talk about it here and there, nonchalantly. And now we finna go automated, and we finna move up out this community. And those of you who can't get on our frequency, you're going to be left behind here. Now these people want to see you on their frequency. And that's all they care about. As long as you on their frequency, that's all they care about. And so pretty soon I'm finna have another meeting with the Somalians. And things finna start, and also the 5,000 elite is finna get automated. So I'm letting you know now. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't part of us, and if you ain't rolling with us, and if you ain't, you know what I'm saying, if you can't deal with us, you're gonna get left behind. Now all it takes is an ordinary business sense, a natural business sense to understand what's going on. But at some point, you make people feel used when you don't support them back. If I'm giving you apples and oranges and grapes every day, I'm giving you apples and oranges, grapes so much that it's so natural to you, it's so normal and natural to you that you don't even pay no attention to it. He fast on the draw. What up, family? Place without no name. How you doing, fam? No sellout in the building. I've entered the building. If I'm giving you apples and oranges, grapes every day, it comes so natural you don't even pay attention to it. At some point, if you can't support, or if you can't give a motherfucker a shout out, if you can't, a little bit of support, it's almost as if that you got too comfortable and you're using motherfuckers. And we can't have that here. So just an ordinary business sense and a business mind. Now I understand a lot of the YouTube personalities, they gotta stay loyal to their fans and to their gang or whatever they claim. That's cool. But you can still be loyal to your game, and you can still be loyal to whatever you gotta be loyal to, and you can also have a natural business sense. So it's okay to give us a shout out. It's okay. Because when you come on the platform, this is an open platform. This is for everybody. Everybody built this. But we do try to put as much as we do try to put a lot into it. We do try to give the people more. We do try to give the people something different. So it won't hurt to give us a shout out every once in a while. It won't hurt to sign up for the elite and make sure, you supporting right along with the crew. Now, most of the people that come on the panel, most of the people are 5,000 elite. But some of the YouTube personalities, they might feel like, well, shit, that's somebody else's shit. They might feel like, they can't be warping prison gangs and shit. Like, I can't be a 5,000 elite and a Hebrew at the same time, or I can't be, like they got a certain type of sense or whatever. But cool, that's cool. You don't gotta be all that, but at least you can have common business sense and common business knowledge. If we can represent you and say, hey, my man James Gilmore, he sell t-shirts and shit. Everybody go to his store. I mean, it's only natural for James Gilmore to go on his platform and say, hey, the guy Ty Data and them, Tribe Up and Chief Holiday and them, they doing a cartoon. Everybody, everybody be on the lookout. We need some women support, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's just natural to be able to do that. If we're doing a cartoon, and you on your platform, or you come on this platform and you advertising, oh yeah, nigga, I got some CDs coming out, I got this and got this. Now when you go on your own platform, it's natural just to be like, shout out, to the guys who making the content. It's natural business sense. But the reason why I say this is because if motherfuckers don't get on our frequency, and at some point, if motherfuckers not a 5,000 elite, they're going to get left behind. Because I'm having this meeting this Saturday. And I plan to leave that meeting with something on the table and some tangible shit. And once we get automated, we out of here. And if you can do whatever you want to do, but like I say, it's business at the end of the day. So if you're not rolling with us, that's cool. That's no problem. You don't have to, but just understand. We got agenda. We got something we trying to do. So we gonna be rolling out of here. So I just want to make that clear, and at least let the people understand that we should have a natural, business sense of each other. It shouldn't be forced. It shouldn't even be talked about. It should just be natural. Now, let's go ahead and get into this metaphysics, y'all. This metaphysics. I'm going to get closer to the screen this time. So, now when you're dealing with mathematical physics, first off, you have to understand that Math goes all the way up into a metaphysical state. Most of us are grown adults, and the average math that we know is adding, subtracting, division, and multiplications. Now, those are all simplified versions of one equation, of one mathematic. But see, a lot of people don't understand that mathematics goes all the way up into the metaphysics. And the higher level of math you know, and the higher level of math you understand, the broader your logic is. So many of you only know up to multiplication and division. So your logic is very limited because your rules that you go by is very limited. Now let me kind of start from the beginning, and I'm going to work my way down. Now, let's just go with the creator. Now, many of us believe in a creator or can feel the presence of a creator. And many of us think that the creator handcrafted everything in the universe. But those of you who create stuff, you understand a little more what it's like to be a creator. And I'm not talking about taking something and making it better. I'm talking about literally having an idea in your head and making it come to reality. Many of us. What the fuck is that? Is this one of y'all calling me? Or is this a bot? This probably a bot. What the fuck is this? Hello?
Hi, this is Sharon, your local.
That's a fucking bot. So it was just a weird ass number calling me from like a state that doesn't even exist. So now, understanding when you're a creator that it takes a certain type of mathematics to get your creation to life. Now, many of y'all, or many of us, go around with ideas in our head our whole entire life and never to ever make them come to life. And the reason why that is because your logic is limited. They only teach you a certain amount of logic. And the books and the stories fills in the gaps. So what they do, instead of teaching you the mathematics, they will teach you the story behind the mathematics. And before I get in, let me give you a quick example. Instead of me saying 2 plus 2 is 4, what if I was to say, well, a man walked into a store. He brought a Pepsi and a Coke. The Pepsi represents sun, and the Coke represents the moon. And he walked up to a camera. He walked up to the counter, and he realized, I have a wife and I have a child at home. So he went back and he grabbed a Hawaiian Punch and a 7-Up. And he paid for the drink and he left the store. So then I say, well, what's the moral of the story? When I could have simply said 2 plus 2 is 4. So now we all over the goddamn place trying to figure out the moral of the story. Some people would say, well, the moral of the story is that he loved his family and he went back. Some people say, well, the moral of the story is that, he was drinking the sun and the moon. We'll fucking argue for days and days and days, you know what I'm saying, of that dumbass story, when simply we could have just said 2 plus 2 is 4. And this is where a lot of religions and a lot of philosophy come in that. And this is what that shit looked like to me. It looks like people are trying to avoid math and trying to focus on a dumbass story that don't mean shit. And depending on your logic, depending on what you see in the story. So when I hear that story, I'm thinking the moral of the story is that he went back and he forgot. He forgot that he had a wife and kids. So he remembered. You know what I'm saying? And somebody else with a different logic could hear that same story and they be like, nah, man, that ain't true. The moral of the story, you know what I'm saying? The moral of the story is that, you know, he had a Coke and a Pepsi. And they don't go together. Who drink Coke and Pepsi? You know, you see what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of this shit began to look like to me. A bunch of dumbass stories with no math. And everybody got a different logic on how they stretch the fucking story out. So this is how they teach y'all. They teach y'all in a story sense. But it's time for some goddamn math today. And we're going to get in it. Now, as a creator, I myself, I would not want to create every single thing in the whole entire universe. It will be very simple and very easy for me to create one simple mathematical equation that creates everything I want. Now I'm going to say that again. It will be more simple. Instead of me handcrafting the human, handcrafting the woman, handcrafting the bug, handcrafting a horse, and sit down and make all these animals and all these plants, it will be more simple just to make a creation that can create what I want. You understand what I mean? I'm going to say it one more time. It will be more simple just to create something that creates versus me sitting there creating every goddamn thing. So what can I create that could create everything? I could create mathematics. But your perception of mathematics is different from mine. Because my perception of mathematics is, I understand that math go all the way up to metaphysics. And it go all the way down. And storytelling is the bottom of the barrel of mathematics that you can get. So anytime somebody telling you a story, anytime somebody telling you some shit, or reading some book or some shit, that is the bottom. You hit bottom of mathematics. The higher you go, let's see what type of math we got. Some of you might know Algebra 1. Some of you might know geometry. Some of you might know Algebra 2 or trigonometry. Some of you might know pre-calculus. And some of you might know calculus. And that's where they cut you off at. They cut you off right there to calculus. Now understand, you don't stop at calculus. It keeps going to the metaphysics. It keep going all the way till you hit metaphysical, y'all. Now when you walking around and you know nothing more than algebra, you missing geometry, you missing algebra 2, you missing trigonometry, you missing pre-calculus, and you missing calculus. So therefore, your whole goddamn logic is limited. And I will give a smaller example, if I can think of something. Now, say for example, let me see. Say for example, if let me see, I'm gonna come up with something. Excuse me, I have a little I'm a little nervous because I'm being recorded, and I'm trying my best to do the best I can, and at the same time, I'm trying to be myself without trying to be my best. It's kind of weird, but like, okay, say for example, if you only knew how to speak a certain language, let's just start right there. You only know how to speak a certain language, and many of the ancient languages is very limited. They don't have a name for an iPod. They don't have a name for a fingernail polish. They don't have a name for a video game. So, and they don't even have them. Oh, here we go. Okay, I got it. Now my brain warmed up. Okay, this time I'm going to break it down to you. I'm going to say it one more time. If you walking around with a limited amount of mathematics, your logic is limited. If the highest amount of math you know is division and multiplication, the way you look at the world is going to be according to such. If you don't know how to do algebra, how are you going to see algebra in the TV? How are you going to see algebra in a car? When you look at a car, most of the time you look at a car. You can't break that down using algebra. You don't know algebra 1. And then you got geometry. You don't know geometry. You can't look at a bird flapping its wings and figure out how that works in geometry. It doesn't exist to you. You don't know it. You're limited. Algebra 2, trigonometry. You don't know how to break down a cheetah running using algebra and trigonometry, the bending, the flexion of the wind and all. You don't know how to do that. All you know is a certain mile per hour and the bullshit that they teach you. You don't know how to break down the solar system using pre-calculus or calculus. You only know for what they teach you. Stories and times tables. And I said times tables on a purpose. And your story, your storybook logic. And I'm going to give you an example. If you take one of these new computers, i8 processor, trilobite hard drive, 16 gigabyte RAM, nice little vector video card and all this type of stuff, right? And you run Windows 95 on it. Windows 95 might cut on and it might work. But Windows 95 is going to put a limitations on your dope ass computer. Because Windows 95 is only going to take you so high. So you don't know Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows Millennial, and all this other shit. You don't know that even exists. So many of us, or many of you, is running on Windows 95. You're running on outdated software. You're running on outdated logic. But what makes it so different and what makes it so messed up? Because in this community, I done heard all the things from the flat earth, the Moors, the Hebrews. How the fuck is we Egyptian? And all this other stuff. And guess what? All that shit makes perfect logical sense. None of that shit is actually weird. It actually make all logic sense. But it only make logic sense in a storybook form. It don't make sense mathematically. So I understand why people go to the books. I understand why people is drawn to the nations and drawn to the philosophy. Because it make perfectly sense for you. And that's why they put it there. So these stories that they telling y'all is the simplest the simplest thing you can break down, the simplest mathematics breakdown you can get. But understand, math goes all the way up to a metaphysical world. And I'm not just talking quantum physics, I'm talking beyond. It goes metaphysical. Like some of you couldn't even be able to understand it, you would have a heart attack. Some of you will forget how to breathe if you understood some of the math and some of the shit that they got out there. So that's why they make it as simple as possible for you. And they give you a story about a man or a monkey or some dumb shit that makes logical sense to you. And you go around and you teach it to another generation, and you teach it to another generation. Everybody running a Windows 95 software. Never to even understand that Windows 10 and Windows Millennium and Windows all this other shit exists. So your logic is limited. Now, we're gonna get a little more into that. But first off, let me address something real quick. I wanna say, y'all, we finna get ready and do something major. And so we don't wanna let these people, and they fucked up frequency. We don't wanna allow ourselves to go on their frequency. And I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Who we got? Okay, we got Chief Holiday. Chief Holiday's a mean bastard. Chief Holiday. If a 4-year-old came up to you and said, Chief Holiday, I seen you on the internet, I'm gonna beat your ass, what you gonna say? If a 4-year-old boy came up to you and told you he was finna beat your ass, what would you say or what would you do? A 4-year-old boy. Ain't even made it to kindergarten yet. I'm interested to see what would you do. There's a point in all this, but I wanna explain it to you in a way. Can you hear me, Chief? Can you get me? Who else we got in there? We got Ghost in there. Ghost like what? Ghost like 32, 33. Ghost. If a 4-year-old boy came up to you and told you he was going to beat your ass, what would you do? A 4-year-old boy. Just got out of diapers. Can y'all hear me? Oh, he 34. What would you do, fam, if a 4-year-old boy threatened to beat you up? What would you do? Would you laugh? Would you fight him? Or would you be like, man, this is crazy? Would you let him try? What would you do? See, I'm gonna go tell his mama to whoop his ass. So he wouldn't even fight him. You wouldn't fight that. You wouldn't fight a 4-year-old, would you? My point is that we won't take that shit serious. We'll think that shit's cute. We won't take that shit serious. We'll be like, okay, little dude. Okay, you'll win. I'm scared. I'm frightened. You know what I'm saying? You would laugh. It's funny, right? Now, if a motherfucker that's 30 come up to you and say, man, I'm gonna beat your ass, what would you do? You gonna get ready to knuckle up. You gonna take that a whole lot different, ain't you? That's a whole nother different frequency, ain't it? Same words, but it's coming from somebody from a different frequency. It's a whole different other frequency. You gonna be ready to knuckle up. You might, if you're a nice dude, you might just be like, look, man, whatever. You come too close to me, I'ma break your shit. Say whatever you want to say, but you put your hands on me or drop a spit or some shit coming on me, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? You might do that. And that's different. Now, right, you wouldn't take that shit serious. And so, what I want you to understand is that when we dealing with the so-called Pan-Africans or the so-called other gang or whatever the fuck you want to call it, understand that they represent that 4-year-old boy. They ain't going nowhere. They ain't doing shit. Let's not even get on their frequency. Don't even take that shit seriously. Now if you want to get on the, now for 4-year, that's what that shit sounds like when they talking shit. Like, dude, you're talking to a corporation. Right, you will laugh at a 4-year-old boy. Okay, maybe the time is off, but yeah, we will laugh. That shit will be funny. That shit will be cute. Like, oh, this little boy, that's cute as hell. He said he go beat me up and shit. You know what I'm saying? But when a grown man said, we take it a little bit different. And that's what we look like when we going back and forth with these Pan-Africans. We looking like you know what I'm saying? That's what we looking like. Because we're getting on their frequency. We already know they done had their peak years already. They done had their most glory days already. They done had the biggest platform. They done had the biggest master teacher. They done had the movies. They done had the documentaries. They done had all that shit already. So when they talking shit, understand that's nothing more than like a 4-year-old boy talking shit to you. That shit is obsolete. Dude, you're out of your league. The shit is cute. It's cute. Yeah. But to go down to their level and to get to talking shit and, oh man, yeah, fuck y'all niggas and all this shit. You're it's like, it's you know what I'm saying? We finna get out of here. They're not. They're going to still be here. So to sit there and go down on their frequency, you actually kind of belittling yourself. Kind of like with a 4-year-old boy, like, dude, that your frequency ain't even high enough for me to take you serious. You 4 years old, your frequency ain't even high enough for me to even be threatened by you. The same thing when you dealing with some of the angry old ass Pan-Africans. Your frequency is not even serious enough for us to take you serious. Your frequency is not serious enough for us to be threatened. Leave it alone. Let's keep moving forward, y'all. Let's keep building. We on the right track. Y'all know we at. Now, let's get into this. Now, when you dealing with the creators, Mav, or when you dealing with the metaphysical Mav, the first thing you need to understand is that mathematics goes up to metaphysics. And being a creator, instead of the creator creating everything on the universe, all the creator has to do is just create math. And the math will create everything in creation. Now I'm explaining a little bit to how this works. Now some of the educated people might not understand this because some of them has been indoctrinated, and some of them have high education, but they don't understand your high education. They still don't teach you the metaphysical math. They also give you a cutoff point, and they give you a limit. They will tell you more stories than actual math. So you're no different, and your metaphysics is just as limited as the people who didn't get the high degrees. Now let's do the math. Now first thing you need to understand is that when you're dealing with numbers and when you're dealing with math, it can be manipulated. It can be twisted. But it can only go so far. It has its limits. Kind of like a football. A person's throwing a football. I don't care how many times you throw that football. There's a certain range you're not going to go past. You're not finna throw that football a mile. It's limited. You might be able to throw it farther than the next person. But there's a limitation. And so when you're dealing with math, understands there's always going to be limitations. So as much as you can tweak the math, and as much as you can bend it and flex it and make it lie, you're only going to be able to do that so much until your ass get caught up in the lie, until it get discovered that your math is wrong, until that it get discovered that however you manipulated your math is going to turn up eventually. But when you're dealing with words and when you're dealing with logic, it's open-ended. It's like water. Water has no shape. You can go anywhere, anything you want to do with water. And that's why when you're dealing with philosophy, you can go any which way you want to, anything. And when you're dealing with anything or any kind of logic, you can go any motherfucking way you want to. But when you're dealing with numbers, you in a box, man. We fighting in the box. Can't nobody get out this motherfucker. So even when you're dealing with priests and chromatic priests and priesthood, notice the first thing about them is that they never use math. Never. You'll never catch one of these motherfucking preachers or priests using mathematics. You know why? You know why that is? I'm not gonna say it right now. But I'm gonna explain it. I'm gonna explain it one day. But I want to bring it to your attention, and I want you to figure out why people of the books never use math. Why these preachers and shit always got some so-called metaphysical saying or some little saying or some bullshit. It's always some bullshit that they say to make sense. Limited sense. Now, with that being said, now you understand how the creator can create. It don't need to create you. All it needs to do is create the formula for you. So those who believe that God had a piece of clay and a pencil. Okay, my damn camera decided to come on dumb as hell in the middle. So let me see if I can. It's gonna mess me up a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can get myself in there. So those of you who believe that the creator single-handedly created you, it makes 100% logical sense with limited math. That makes sense. Here I am. Now, sorry about that. My camera just cut on. Now, it makes logical sense to think that a creator literally hand carved every single thing on the planet. That makes sense. I can't say nothing against it. But as a creator myself, and if I'm the holy creator, then to me, in my logic, it will be easy just to create a formula to create everything in existence. Now, when you're dealing with the formula that created everything, and it's dealing with math, that means you will see a lot of similarities in a lot of things. Now, I don't know where people got this from. Actually, I kind of do know where people got this from, but I'm going to bring up something. If I can find it. I'm going to bring up something, right? This right here is like a monkey thing, right? Over here, this thing. Now, a lot of people will see this creature and they will see the similarities that it has with us. And they will look at this creature and they will say, oh, look at his hands. His hands look similar to mine. Oh, look at his rib cage. Look at his tail. Look at the way it stands. It looks similar to mine. And so what they begin to do is they begin to use their logic. And they will say, well, it used to be me. And it comes from me and I come from it. And I used to be that. And it makes logical sense when you're dealing with the limited logic. So many of the people that believe in the monkey shit, and many of the people that believe in a lot of this stuff, in their world and in their logic, it makes perfect logical sense. So you cannot really, you cannot really deny it because it makes perfect logical sense in their world, in their logic though. Because remember, they're trapped in a limited logic, in a limited amount of logic. They never got taught the trigonometry. They never got taught the pre-calculus, the calculus, and beyond, and beyond, and beyond. They never got taught that. So, although some of us might be running on Windows 95, and they might be running on Windows Vista, they still missing Windows 10 and Windows Millennium and all that other stuff. So in their little world, it makes sense. But what they never do is they never look at the mathematical formula. Now, if you understand math, you understand that if there's a certain type of math out there, and it's a certain type of math that created us, understand that you're going to see the same patterns and you're going to see the same creations throughout all creations. And what bonds us together is not that that some fucking walking monkey birthed a human one day or some shit, or birthed something that looks similar to the human, that birthed something that looks more similar, and birthed something that looks more similar, and start birthing these things to look to a fucking human. That don't mean that. For us to have similar traits into everything, I done even seen shows where people show dolphin fins. And they show bat wings. And they show chicken fingers. And they say, look, their hands look like ours. Look, there's some kind of philosophy bullshit that I can connect it to. But I can't do it mathematically. But I can do it with some philosophy shit. And I put a nice little long little name on it. Oh, this is morphism. Oh, this is Trallamamalagat. You don't know nothing about that. You ain't go to school for that. Well, guess what? I know math, motherfucker. I don't need the fancy ass titles and the fancy ass subjects. It's all the same formula. So if you use the same formula to make me, and you use the same mathematical formulas to make that, then chances are we're going to look alike. Chances are there's going to be similarities. And I'm going to break this down for you a little bit more. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up some shapes and some colors. And I want everybody to pay close attention because this is where it get real good at. Now, understand the first thing you learn as a human is you learn shapes. I mean, not as a human, but as a conscious. I don't even know what the hell to call it, because I don't even want to use none of they goddamn words, because it throws the meaning off when I use their words. So, I said living organism, or that don't even make sense. As something that is aware of itself. Put it like that. That's the closest I can get. The first thing that you begin to understand is shapes. That's the first thing you get to understand is shapes. Now, let's talk about us as a human, because I don't want to go down to the bugs and the things that breathe fucking acid and sonar and all that type of shit. I don't want to get going and all that, because it's gonna I'm gonna try to keep it in a certain box. So I don't want to cover every single thing, because we got bugs out there, and then we got things that use sonar, and we got things that use like infrared and stuff like that. We're gonna leave the creatures out of this one, and we're just gonna talk about us humans. Now, the first thing we knows, and we're gonna talk about our land animals. The first thing we notice is shapes and colors. Now, I'm not too heavy on the color thing, but I'm gonna try to imprint the colors on there. So if I make a mistake, please don't be in my goddamn inbox telling me I gotta cover. There's a point to what I'm saying. I want you to. The whole point of this is not for you to believe what I'm saying and take it word for word. The point is for you to question your logic, the way you look at the world, the way you perception the world. Question that shit. Don't settle for a fucking story or a goddamn movie. Don't settle for some shit that makes sense to you. You got to be able to go to a higher form of calculating to be able to make sense in that level. And once you get that level, understand that there's another form, a higher form of calculating that you should be going to. And it goes all the way up into a metaphysical properties. Your metaphysical properties that you carry. But you don't know how to get to them, because this is how they got you. This is how they got you. I'm going to explain it. Now, as a human, the first thing we see is shapes. But they don't tell us that shapes is math. Is mathematical. If you take that triangle, there's only a certain amount of things you can make with it. You can twist it. You can pull it. You can stretch it, make it kind of even oval looking, or you might be able to make a square out of it. You can do whatever, twist and pull whatever you want. But it's going to be limited to what you can do with that triangle. That's math. That circle is math. That oval is math. But see, they don't really tell you that. They tell you that it's shapes. Listen to the name and the language that they use. That's a shape. But what they should have told you is that is the beginning of mathematics. They don't tell us that. So when we look at a triangle, the first thing that's supposed to come to our mind is the math that created it. But we don't even know. Anybody don't even know the math that created it. We know it's a triangle. We know it's a shape. And again, they got you with the language, because they know when you think of shape, they know what you're going to think. But when you think of mathematical equation, they know that's going to spin you off. And that's going to make your brain react a certain way. Now understand, you guys are looking at mathematics right here. You guys are looking at mathematics. So every shape you see for the rest of your life, you should understand you're looking at math. You're looking at the lowest level of math. Remember how I told you, you go from calculus, you go from what they teach. They go calculus, pre-calculus, what is it? Pre-calculus, then algebra and trigonometry, geometry, then you go algebra 1, and then I think you get into like division, and you go down to like multiplications, adding and subtracting, and you go down to shapes. Shapes is the first step to mathematics. Even the animals understand it. The shapes. Now, so from these shapes, you should be able to go all the way up just from these shapes. But most of us can't go all the way up to the metaphysics in math. Most of us can go with the shapes, and we can multiply, we can do division. And that's the average one of you. So when you look around and you say, why we're not building, you got a person who uses a computer every day without even a single thought of, man, why shouldn't I make my own computer? A person who uses their phone every fucking day and don't even have a single thought. Why should I make my own phone? A person who drive a car every day, got jewelry on every day, hats on every day, without even a single thought that I should make that. And the reason why you like that is because the way you've been taught and the limited of your logic. See, it fucks me up that if I'm going to use a computer every day, my first thought is, man, I want my own. Because this little computer that they giving us, man, that shit got limitations. My computer gonna be way colder. I want a screen I can fold out and put it, and I can put in my pocket and I can fold out. I want a keyboard on my hand where I can type on my hand. I want this, I want that. I don't want this shit that they look at, this cave ass shit that they giving y'all, and y'all walking around here thinking y'all in the future. A big ass fucking keyboard. Who the fuck need a keyboard this day and age? And y'all don't even know no different. Because the logic that they trapped you in. And most people won't even fantasize, man, I want my own keyboard. And they use one every goddamn day. And that's because you're trapped in your logic. Now let me try to deal with the colors, okay? Let me try to deal with the colors. These are supposed to be some of the primary colors. All right? Now, from these three colors, you should be able to make just about all colors. Not every single, but just about all colors. Now, These colors and these shapes represent the math that I'm about to give y'all. Because I'm finna give y'all a mathematical problem that's going to higher your consciousness. And those of you who are able to understand what I'm saying, you, my friend, will be vibrating on a higher consciousness. Now, you see this little thing up here, this little picture up here that I got. You see that? Let me see if I can touch it. That right there. That represent vibration. Everybody know what vibration is. Now, before I move on, let me go back to the monkey thing. The monkey thing is here because a lot of the educated people will try to pin us to a monkey thing based on its characteristics, based on its bone structure, and even some of the biological makeup that it has. But what they don't understand is that if I have a limited amount of math and I create everything, you're going to see patterns and shapes over and over and over and over again. You're going to see characteristics over and over and over and over again. Because remember, I'm using mathematics to create everything. So just because this monkey has a facial structure that looks like me and has some characteristics that look like me, nigga, that don't mean I come from a fucking monkey. All that means is that was the same mathematical formula that made the monkey was the same mathematical formula that made me. Now, if you want to get picky and you wanted to say, well, you guys are together through math, okay, that will be very clever, and that will be very, that will be good. But to say that there was a motherfucking monkey walking around pregnant with my mama and shit, pregnant with my ancestors and shit, motherfucker walking and shit, and a motherfucker pregnant with a semi-human or half a human and shit, and then the half a human and shit walking around pregnant and shit with a half a human who's walking around with a half like okay, I get it, it makes logical sense. With a bunch of limited ass bullshit. But it's simply the same math that created that was the same math that created me. So to have similarities, similar characteristics, similar culture or whatever the fuck, it's just a fucking math formula. It's not no motherfucking kinship. Okay? Now if you want to go deep down into math and you say, well, you guys are related through math, cool. You picky, but it makes sense. But we're not talking mathematically related because we all mathematically related. We all vibrational related. And I'm going to break that down for you. Now, looking at the picture up here, this picture represents vibration. You can see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 humans, and you see the sun is attracted to a certain one. I'm going to try to blow it up for you. The sun is attracted to all of them, and all of them have a different personality trait based on its vibration. I'm gonna try to blow that up for you. Can you see that? Hold on, let me get it out of my damn face. It's cool. So that's what that represent. It's a metaphysical picture, and it's showing the different vibrations, and each vibration have a different personality. So you have the guy who's not vibrating, and he's looking like he don't even know what to do with the food. He's looking like, oh dude, what the fuck is that? Like, how do I'm gonna eat this? Is that spaghetti or is that ravioli? And then you have the dude over there who getting a little bit of vibration. He got him a little fork or whatever. It's a little fork over there. He look like he kind of know what it is. And then you got the person over there that's getting a little more of that vibration, and it looks like it looks like, well, supposedly they supposed to be vibrating a little bit higher, so they're a little more aware of the food that's in front of them. And then you have the person over there that's vibrating a lot higher, and it looks like he's finna pray before he eat. And then you have the other person that's vibrating high as hell, and he just like happy as hell. That's what that's supposed to represent. So now, vibration is actually your metaphysical properties. It's nothing more than vibration. Now, so I'm finna give everybody a math problem that is so simple and so complicated that if you can actually get it, it will heighten your consciousness. Now, check this out. Now, I'm going to give you. So first off, I'm going to give you. See this right here. This is the math problem that I'm giving you. I'm giving you a triangle. I'm giving you a circle. And I'm giving you an oval. And over here, I'm giving you vibration. Now, I want you to take. Let me see. I want you to take all those things. Hold on 1 second. I want you to take all those things, and what I want you to do is that I want you to create everything in existence. Can anybody do that? I'm talking everything in existence. Everything you can think of. Can you do that? Now, understand there's one vibration pattern that all vibrations comes from. So you don't need all the different vibrations. You only need the one singular vibration that houses all vibrations. You know how they say the color black? It has in it all colors. There's one vibration that houses all vibrations. So, Tenkara's in the building. Another cyborg. Tenkara, can you make everything on the planet, everything existence, using a triangle, a circle, and an oval, and vibration? That right there is where you begin your journey. So this goes for flat earthers, globe earthers, metropolyporphyrists, metaphysics, bipedalism, or you, everything in existence. Can anybody out there do that? It has to be all natural. It has to be all natural. You can get a square out of the circle. You can take the circle and you can get a square from that. So you're wrong. You're out. You failed. You failed. You failed. You failed already. Because you can, using mathematics, you can take this circle and you can make you a square. So, can anybody do that? I don't see no yes. Can anybody do that? Now, I'm finna do that right now, right in front of you. I'm finna do that. I'm finna do that right now. I'm finna use these colors, these shapes, and vibration, and I can literally make everything on the planet. But guess what though? Because I am limited in my vibration, and I am limited with my math, everything's going to look similar, and everything's going to repeat itself a lot. Everything's going to have a lot of the same characteristics. So that don't make everything fucking related. Because you looking at a dolphin fin and shit, and it looks like he got a hand and shit, that don't mean I used to be a goddamn dolphin. All that means is that the same mathematical formula that made that dolphin made me. That don't mean, nigga, I used to swim in the ocean and shit. Just because you look at a monkey and shit, and you say, oh, look at the hands, and look, they have parents and shit, and they, you know, they make little facial expressions like us, and their bone structure and their molecular structure and all this shit. That don't mean that a fucking monkey was walking around with my mama, nigga. All that means is the same mathematical equation that made that monkey was the same mathematical equation that made my goddamn mama. That's all that means. And they're not telling y'all that shit. They're hitting y'all with stories and shit that makes logical sense when your logic is limited. Now, let's get this math going. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask anybody. We're not going to go in the ocean yet. Before we go in the ocean, let's deal with land. Let's deal with land. Now, can anybody tell me? I don't know how to explain this. Let me see. Can anybody tell me what is the most land, the most thing on land that we have on land? I'm talking about the most amount. I'm not talking about the heaviest. I'm not talking about the largest. I'm talking about the most of that we have here on land. Can anybody tell me that? Can anybody tell me? The most thing we have on land outnumbers human on land, sir. Sir, on land. If it's water, I'll just push it. We're not going to go with the water yet. We're going to do land first, family. We're going to do land. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do land. So, who said plant? It said the planet. Somebody said trees. Somebody said trees. Okay. Now I'm going to do one better. And I'm going to say leaves. I'm going to say leaves. Because one tree can have a goddamn, I don't even know. I never calculated it before. Let me yeah, if you want to go molecule, you can go with dirt or you can go with sand. If you want to count each and every one. But the sand is but the sand is not like, it doesn't have a life form to it. It doesn't biodegrade. I didn't mention that So with what I mentioned, you would be right, whoever said sand. But because I'm trying to get a certain narrative, I'm trying to see if we on the same frequency. You know what I'm saying? And so you one up me with the sand because I didn't explain that I wasn't talking about like objects and shit. I'm talking about something with a form of life form of some type of it's hard to explain it to you. Okay, I'm just gonna say leaves, okay? Leaves, goddammit, leaves. Okay? Anybody know anything that's some type of organism that's more than leaves? Can anybody beat leaves? That's what I came up with my little limited logic. I came up with leaves. Can anybody outdo me? Can anybody come up with something that's land? Well, plants. I'm sorry, plants. Okay, plants. I just broke it down to leaves because I can get a bunch of different shapes of leaves. So we're going to go with plants. Somebody went biochemical on me. Somebody said cells. You smart. Somebody said rocks. Now rocks are really not living, really. At least that's what I think because of my limited ass logic. I don't know. It might be one finna walk up to the door and knock me out. But with my limited ass logic, I don't believe rocks exist. Okay, we're gonna do insects. We're gonna do that next. So let's just go with leaves. The reason why I pick leaves is not because it's the only thing. It's because there comes in lots of shapes. And so I pick leaves. If you want to go with cells, we can go with cells. Somebody said rocks are living. Okay, well there you go. See, you know more than me. So I'm going to pick leaves because when you look at leaves, and I actually really mean plants when I say leaves. Plant life and plant life. But I'm just going to show leaves because leaves come in different shapes, and one tree can have so many damn leaves. It's ridiculous. I never even thought how many leaves a tree have until right now. So now, as you can see, when you're dealing with these leaves, you can see those three shapes, and you can also get the color. I know you see the triangle in all of them. I know you can see the oval in all of them. And I know you can see the circle in all of them. And I believe if you take yellow and red, it makes green. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure with those three colors I can get green out the deal. You understand where I'm going? You understand where I'm going? You see those shapes, those three shapes in leaves. Now, there's lots of leaves. You can see those three shapes in sand. You can see those three shapes in everything in existence. So that means everything in existence have a certain mathematical formula to it. So when you see things repeat itself, that don't mean that a monkey had a baby and it was a human. All that fucking means is that you use the same mathematical formula that made it. So look how many times the triangle repeats itself. Many of these leaves, you can't even find next to each other. You'll never see them next to each other because they from totally different parts. Some of them is totally different parts of the planet. But you see the triangle throughout all of them. You see the oval throughout. You see the circle throughout. So does that mean that leaf is related to that leaf? Does that mean they are related? Does that mean that that was like a old struggling ass tree, and then it fucking had a baby and shit, and it went over and it had cold, it got cold and shit, and it started getting these different types of leaves, and they had a baby and shit? That don't fucking mean that. This is the same shit they trying to say us with the monkey shit. All that means is that there's the same mathematical pattern. They got all these leaves. That's how they related. Somebody said we went mermaid. You said we went mermaid. Now that make logical sense. You see what I'm saying? But let's keep it moving. Now, I'm going to give you something else. What else we got? Before we go to the ocean, let's stay here on land. And we're going to go with insects. Creepy crawlies. We're going to skip the minuscule cells, because you can see these colors and these shapes in the cells too. Now, look at these creepy crawlies. I don't know if y'all can see them that good, but understand, you can see these three shapes all over again. All over again. There you go. You see the circle. You see the circles. You see the triangles. You see you see the oval stretched out to make legs with a triangle tip, or even the oval got a little triangle tip in it. You see the shapes all over again. Does that mean they all related? Does that mean that centipede, that spider used to be a centipede? Does that mean, is that a gecko or some shit? Does that mean that the spider transformed to a gecko? Does that mean that the scorpion used to be a tarantula? No, that don't mean that. All that means is that the same mathematical formula that made the spider is the same mathematical formula that made the monkey, that made you, and made all the other bugs, and also made those leaves. So now look at the spiders, and I'm going to bring the leaves up, and I'm going to show you how the shapes are very similar. Now here go the spiders right here, and the creepy crawlies. Now let's bring the leaves back up. Now could you see the relation there? It's because they're made by the same mathematical laws and the same mathematical formula. So you're going to repeat. You're going to see repeating everywhere. You're always going to see repeating, because there's a certain mathematical formula that everything was invented by. So you're not going to see nothing outside the mathematical formula. Now, I'm not saying this is the mathematical formula. This is a small, like, picture type of graph thing, some shit I came up with. Just put it like that, okay? But you're going to see these patterns play over and over again. Now, let's go back to the monkey thing. Let's blow the monkey thing up, and let's look at these shapes of the monkey thing. Check it out. Okay, now look at the monkey thing. Now, can you guys see the triangle? Can you guys see the circle? And can you guys see the oval? And every goddamn thing on the monkey thing. So guess what? You're also going to see the same trait in us. Does that mean that we related and the monkey had a baby and shit? No. Only thing that means is that there was the same mathematical formula that made the monkey. It's the same mathematical formula that made me and you. That's all that means. And to come up with a story and come up with a theory and come up with a philosophy, it makes sense. It's not far-fetched. It does make sense. But it don't make mathematical sense if you don't put no math in it. You understand what I'm saying? This is why you would never hear them talking mathematics. No matter how education level they is. Oh, the Morphy problem for mathematics used to be a hermaphroditus, and but nigga, where your math at, fam? Like all that goddamn school, nigga, you ain't talking no calculus. You ain't talking nothing different, nigga. You making up shit like we can make up shit. Like I done simply ask people questions, and I done watch them. I know for a fact that they never heard that question before, and no one never asked them that question before. And guess what they always do? They always think of an answer within their logic. I asked a person a question. They never been asked it before. They never even heard it before. And right off the bat, they can give you the perfect answer within their limited logic. And they will make themselves believe it too. Oh man, well shit, what if something? Motherfucker, I did not ask you what if. I asked you a simple question. Can you answer it or no? Well, no, I can't answer it, but this makes sense to me. I know it do. Because you made this shit up. That's why it makes sense to you. You made that shit up. Ain't nobody never asked you that question. Ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? You ain't never heard that question before. So how the fuck you know the answer to it? It's because you just made that shit up right on spot with your limited logic. It happens all the time. It happens every day. Now let's go to the sea. Now there's a lot of things in the sea. And let's just go with the fish. Okay? Now when you look at the fish, what the fuck do you see? You see a triangle over and over again. And you see an oval over and over again. And you see a circle over and over again. Same thing. Anybody want to bring up something? Anybody want to test my logic? Can you come up with something? Can anybody come up with something that the triangle that's natural, supposedly natural, that the triangle, the circle, and the oval can't make? Test me. Test me. Anybody. Come up with something. This will be good. Come up with something natural. And also we can go to these colors can't make. But I know that might be kind of easy to come up with these colors, because these colors I just did that shit spare of the moment. That wasn't even part of the show. So never mind the colors. But when you're dealing with colors, you're dealing with math. That's the first thing we learn as a human being. We learn how to look up shapes. When you're learning how to say your ABCs and stuff like that, when you learn how to count, I don't know. Let me see. Determination. Like I don't know if you if you want to say, well, you learn ABCs first or you learn how to count, but you can't learn your ABCs if you don't know shapes. And understand shapes is math. Shapes equals numbers. So just learning how to identify, you're still going to shapes. They teach you that. And then what else they teach you? They teach you how to add. Then they teach you how to subtract. Then they teach you multiplications, and they teach you division. And that's usually what most people go through the rest of their goddamn life knowing. So their logic is stuck. So that's why they hit you with the stories and the Pokemon stories. Is because it's supposed to go hand in hand with the box of logic they put you in. They put you in a logic box that says, okay, multiplications is all you're going to use. Multiplications and knowing what time it is and shit. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the measurements, which is, fucking, a quart, 2 quarts equal to a gallon and all this shit. You got your little measurements and you got your little, your little normal little sense. And they say, well, you going to go your whole entire life without having to use anything outside of those mathematics. So they set that right there. They set that right there. So now you got your mathematics right there. And on top of that, they give you a logical story that coincides with your limited math. And now motherfuckers is fighting and shit. Nigga. Oh, nigga, we Hebrews. Nigga, we Kemetic. Nigga, how the fuck is you Egyptian? Nigga, we this, we that. We Indians. Now, identifying yourself is one thing. So that has nothing to do with it. But believing who you are and using your logic to connect with who you are, it makes perfect sense. Now, I haven't really figured out how the fuck is we Egyptian, but I'm pretty sure to the Egyptians, I'm pretty sure that shit makes perfectly sense to them. Now, anybody test me? Tenkara, you out there? Anybody want to test my math? I got a triangle, a circle, and an oval. Anybody want to drop something in the chat that is natural, that cannot make, my math cannot make? I guarantee you, my math right here can make any goddamn thing. Now if I mix vibration. Okay, test it. Okay, go ahead and test it. Come up with some shit. You gonna have to search hard for this one, fam. You're gonna have to search for this one, but come up with something. And don't try to come up with like a seahorse or some shit, cause my motherfucking oval and that triangle will pop you on that seahorse or some shit. So be careful. I'm out here. I challenge anybody. Challenge Ty Data's math. And it's including the goddamn earth. Anything that can challenge my math. Now, I already know y'all can pop the colors off. But if I really wanted to get thorough, the colors was last minute. If I wanted to get thorough, somebody said my leg. Man, that oval ass leg, man, quit the... First off, your leg is a circle. First off, okay? That's a circle, man. That ain't nothing but a 3-dimensional circle. And then your thigh, you can say that's an oval. You know what I'm saying? So you still in the circle. You still in the circular oval, dealing with your legs. And then when we go with the woman, with the shape of a woman, we still dealing with oval. We still dealing with the oval shape and the circle shape. With these two, with this oval and with this oval and this circle, I could damn near make a human. Now, more so cylindrical. Well, and the circle is, I mean, what do you think of circle? A circle is, it pretty much, you pretty much like answers your question. But anyway, now let's deal with the vibration patterns. Now, understand vibrations dealing with metaphysics, and also when you're dealing with metaphysics, that's the highest number you can get. Now, there's one mathematical equation where all math comes from, but they just lowered it down. So, these are the highest mathematics that some of you might have heard of or even know. You got Algebra 1. You got geometry. You got Algebra 2. You got trigonometry. You got pre-calculus, and you got calculus. Now, understand. Calculus will be the highest. But guess what? By knowing calculus, let me see. How can I put this? Now, close. What's the difference between the infinite shape and the same? What's one and the same? Okay. The infinite shape. Yeah, the infinite shape is in there. It's nothing but an oval that's twisted or that's pinched and stretched out or some shit. I mean, yeah, that's. It's two-dimensional. Well, it can be three-dimensional. You can have a three-dimensional triangle. You can have a three-dimensional oval. Just like that's why I got my head. You see what I'm saying? Like if you take one oval and connect it with another oval, connect it with another oval, connect it with another, connect it. At some point you're gonna get a three-dimensional. So they're just, you know what I'm saying? Our DNA code. Yeah, we'll deal with that later. We're gonna deal with that privately because these motherfuckers ain't ready. So now here we go. Now when you dealing with, like I said, these are some of the mathematics that you know. We got algebra 1, we got geometry, we got algebra 2 / trigonometry, we got pre-calculus, and we got calculus. Now this is what I want you to understand before I go, and this is sort of the point. Also, they have to deal with the point of why I'm here. Now, when you have calculus, which is supposed to be the highest, supposedly, because remember, it goes up to metaphysical. So they don't have a name for it yet. Well, they don't have a name. I named it. So I have a name that keeps going. Now, I'm not to say that I know all this math, but I am aware of it and I can understand it, but I cannot sit here and tell you I know calculus. I'll be lying. But I am 100% aware of it and everything and every, but anyway, now when you're dealing with calculus, okay, because we gonna have to teach ourselves this stuff, y'all. That's why we getting our own platform and our own network. We're going to be teaching us this. A lot of people don't want to know the boring stuff, but somebody needs to know the boring stuff so we can pimp it out and give it to the youth. We can put it down and give it to the babies. And that's why you get the shapes. It's nothing more than math smashed down. And I'm going to explain it. Now, when you're dealing with calculus, sorry, I can't. Let me see. I can see the chat now. Now, when you're dealing with the physical, you're dealing with vibration. I'm going to deal with vibration because the vibration deals with our personalities. And we share the same personality traits as some trees. We share the same personality traits as the monkey things. We share the same personality traits as some of the spiders and some of the other shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we all made by the same formula. So it is that don't mean I'm related to a spider because the spider is married and I'm married. Motherfuckers be like, oh man, nigga, we used to be spiders because they got families. Actually, spiders don't have families. But I'm just saying, people take their little logic and shit. You know what I'm saying? And they make themselves believe stuff because it makes sense in their logic. And people do this in a snap of a finger without even totally thinking. It's just natural. Because your mathematics and your logic, everything in your world has to fit. It has to fit. So whether the earth is flat or round or whatever the hell it is, you know what I'm saying? It all has to fit in your mind. But motherfuckers processors are outdated around this motherfucker. And we gonna get up to date. Here we go. Now, when you're dealing with calculus, understand pre-calculus comes out of calculus. So you take calculus and you abstract pre-calculus. So it's a dumbed down version of calculus. Now, when you take pre-calculus, you dealing with algebra 2 and trigonometry. Trigonometry is nothing more but a dumbed down version of pre-calculus. Now you're dealing with geometry. Geometry is nothing more than a dumbed down version of trigonometry. And now you're dealing with algebra. Algebra is nothing more than a dumbed down version of geometry. Now you're dealing with algebra. Multiplications, divisions, is nothing more than a dumbed down version of algebra. Now you're dealing with multiplications and division is nothing more than now you're dealing with adding and subtracting. It's nothing more but a dumbed down version of multiplication and division. And now you got simple adding and subtracting. But now when you're dealing with shapes is nothing more than a dumbed down version of adding and subtracting. So now when you look up the shapes, you're actually looking at calculus. But you can't see it because you don't know calculus. The first thing you know how to count is on your fingers. What is that? What shape is that? Is that an oval? Is that an oval? Is it trying to triangle? Is that a stretched out oval? Can I take an oval and make my finger? That's a shape. That's calculus I'm looking at. But guess what? I don't know it's calculus because I'm dumb. It looks like a finger to me. You see? This is how they get you. Now, understand each version of math is nothing more than a dumbed down version of its higher form. Now, calculus is nothing more than a dumbed down version of something else. And that something else is nothing more than a dumbed down version of something else. And it goes all the way until you get to the actual formula, until you get metaphysical. And I'm talking beyond quantum physics, because quantum physics ain't nothing more than a dumbed down version of something else. Now, the higher you go, the higher your consciousness, and the more you can do. And this is why they need to keep you entertained. It is very important that they keep you entertained. It is very important to them. And we can tap into that metaphysics. Everybody knows that. You can feel it. But you're not going to do it with a fucking book. You're not going to do it with no ancient fucking philosophy, fam. Those are dumbed down versions of what the fuck is really going on. Some people say, well, the Bible's metaphysics. Some people say, no, the shit's literal. Some people say this, some people say that. Whatever fucking level of limited ass logic they at, that's what it is to them. That's what it is to them. But the logic is so fucking limited, and even the smartest people don't even recognize it and don't even know it. But here, y'all know where we at, and we the 5,000 elite, and this shit is real. You can talk all the shit you want, and you can say what all you want, but the 5,000 elite is here, and the shit is real. And we got some knowledge for you, but shit ain't fun. A lot of it is not entertaining, but somebody's gonna have to do it so we can dumb it down. Like they went from calculus to adding and subtracting. Like they went all the way from calculus to shapes. Somebody had to learn that calculus, and they learned it, and they was trying to teach somebody, and they was like, man, shit. They wasn't getting it. So they said, okay, we're going to come up with something called pre-calculus. And so they started doing pre-calculus. Somebody mastered it. Tried to teach it to somebody. They said, man, I'm not getting it. They said, well, we finna come up with trigonometry then. They mastered the trigonometry. They say, well, they try to teach it to somebody. They say, man, I'm not getting that trigonometry shit. That shit don't make sense. So they said, okay, well, we're going to come out with algebra then. They got algebra. They try to teach algebra to people. Wasn't nobody getting that shit in school. Motherfuckers motherfuckers don't use that shit. You never use it in your day to day. And they do that on purpose. Because you could use it. There could be algebra and calculus all over the place, but they don't talk about it. And it's only two reasons that I could come up with, is that they themselves don't know it, or they don't want you to know it. But anyway, so then you walk around. They tried to teach us algebra. I remember that. In the 80s, they should try to teach us that. But that shit wasn't getting nowhere. We wasn't getting that shit. That shit was useless. They was teaching that shit in high school. I still believe they teach that in some high schools. But then they say, man, a lot of these students ain't getting this shit. So they say, well, fuck it, let's teach them division then. Let's teach them multiplications. And they say, man, if you can't learn multiplications, man, you can't pass, dude. That's the least we can give you is multiplications. So then it goes down to adding. So that's what you need to understand. So you're not going to get no higher vibration or whatever the fuck people think they be doing and shit. High as hell and shit. Like, nigga, you ain't doing shit. Nigga, you're limited. Nigga, your shit got a, nigga, you're a motherfucking jar that's closed, nigga, with holes in it, nigga. Your shit's limited, nigga. You shake your shit up. I'm here to shake your shit up. Open that motherfucking jar. Let some fresh air in that musty motherfucker. Okay? That's what we doing here. We real, man. We thorough here. We not playing, dog. The rest of these motherfuckers might be playing. And they want your views and they want your money. Nigga, fuck your views. Fuck your money. Let's get going. Motherfuckers ain't vibrating. Motherfuckers ain't on no high vibration with no goddamn philosophy. Nigga, are you busy thinking? That's what the fuck you're doing. You in your own logic, and you in your own little logic. You trapped in that motherfucker, and you just going to different places in your logic, and everything makes more sense, and you get in more and more knowledge. But what you're doing is you're taking the knowledge that you're getting, and you're twisting it in your logic. So I just learned some new shit. But guess what? It makes sense because of that shit. So now this got to be true because that shit would make sense to me. So motherfuckers ain't on no real motherfucking high vibration. Because ain't no way in hell that you can sit here and use a phone for however many years you use the phone and not even having a thought of making your own. There's no way in hell you can sit here and spend this money and use this money without even having a thought of getting your own. There's no way in hell that you're on a high vibration and you can sit here and watch TV without even thinking, hey, I want my own TV. I don't want to watch theirs. You ain't vibrating, man. What the fuck you're doing is you're zoned the fuck out, and you spaced the fuck out, and you got your little books, and you got your little philosophy, and you got your limited logic, and you're adding knowledge to your limited logic. And the only way you're going to bust that motherfucking logic open is you're going to have to get some motherfucking math in your life, fam. You're going to have to start, if you want to vibrate. Now, let's deal with the vibration thing. Now, when you're dealing with the vibration, you also dealing with mathematics. When you're dealing with a personality, that's a vibration. A certain personality, these words are vibration. So if you take these shapes in the vibration, man, according to my little limited ass logic, you can make everything. Now I'm waiting for somebody to crack it open, cause now we just went to a new, you just went to another form of thinking. Now you just went to a higher vibration just by trying to crack this motherfucker. You understand? So when you're dealing with vibration, understand that there's also a limit of vibration, because all vibrations come from a singular vibration. Now that's something you can look up, or actually you can't look that up, but that's just something you're gonna have to deal with till you figure out a way to twist it in your own little logic, or whatever the fuck you gonna do with it. It doesn't matter, because it's not the point I'm trying to make. But if you have this single vibration, and everything comes from that vibration, every sound comes from that vibration. So now you can take those vibrations and you can mix and match them. You can mix and match them, and you can come up with different things. You can come up with shit. Hell, you can come up with colors. You can come up with shapes. You can come up with dimensions. They're nothing more than different vibrations. I can sit right here and vibrate different and see something totally different on a different vibration. So when you see these animals and these monkey things, when you see them with similar characteristics as us, that basically means they was made with the same mathematical formula. Now, if that makes sense to you, which I understand it should, it do make sense to you that a monkey had a lady and morphed into some shit. That makes sense to you. That's cool. That's all good. But don't go around preaching the shit like it's your shit. Where's the logic in that? Motherfuckers going around preaching and teaching other people's shit. At least some of these people was able to start their own shit. And they was to go around and take a little bit from here, 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 and they teach their own shit. I praise that. But to the regurgitating motherfuckers and the regurgitating ass motherfuckers, dude, what is the logic in that? Of going around of preaching somebody else's shit. You never had a thought that, hey, maybe I should preach this shit and I should add some shit, and whatever's fishy in here, I should add some shit and make my own version of this theory? That ever occurred to you? It hasn't. Because your logic is limited, and you just proved it by not being able to add or subtract of what you were taught. Motherfuckers don't teach you some shit like the world stopped. Like we stopped at Windows 95. Could you imagine if we were still stuck in Windows 95 and nobody never questioned how to make it better? That's what the fuck they doing with this philosophy and the shit that they learn in school. They learn this shit never to try to make it better, never to try to debunk it, never to try to make it theirs. And so they come to the community spewing this shit as if they teaching some real knowledge. And maybe you might be. You never know. But you ain't gonna pull that shit on the 5,000 lead. You definitely ain't gonna pull that shit on the cyborg. You can pull the shit on the rest of these motherfuckers. And these people, they're ours. They're taken care of. Leave them alone. They're ours. They going with us. The rest of y'all motherfuckers can vibrate down here to fuck with the rest of the motherfuckers and do what y'all got to do. But we getting us 5,000 motherfuckers and we doing ours. Regardless if you believe it or not. It's real. Now I'm gonna go ahead and leave it with that, y'all. Anybody got any questions? Anybody? Flat earthers? Anybody want to take the Tide Data Mathematic Challenge? Anybody want to fuck with my math? I got a triangle, I got a circle, and I got an oval. And I can make every goddamn thing in the world with it. Anything that's not in that shape is not natural. That's my claim. I made it up. Ain't nobody teach me it. Ain't nobody nothing. It's just simple math. It's simple as fuck to me, but it's simple. So we'll get back to this. Because I want to put my boy Tenkara. I want him to knock this shit out the water for me. I'm counting on you, Kentara, to knock this math out the water. Addressing. Right. But we out here, y'all. We gonna keep it moving. And let's make sure we leave the 4-year-old bullshit alone. Because we grown as men. We're making moves. There's no reason that we need to acknowledge a fucking 4-year-old talking about he gonna beat us up and shit. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't take that shit serious. But for motherfucking equal to you and say that. So let's stop proving that these motherfuckers is equal. And let's show these motherfuckers y'all not even on our level. Like it don't even make no sense. But we gonna go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Peace to the family. 5,000 lead. We out this piece. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Somebody might be coming on a little bit later. But let's keep working. Peace.
When I look around, it's the same shit. All the different towns with the aimless. All the different frowns with the same gifts. On the same ground with the same piss. All you hear the preachers talking with the same lips. All the brothers on the side looking famous. All the guys getting high with the same hip. How we ever gonna rise or change this or face this? When our leaders don't even talk, and we divided in the way we walk, and we still getting lined in chow. And these killings ain't never gonna slow. Gotta find a place to go until we can get control. We just trying to find a way to change scenarios. This goes out to all the hoods, ejects the barrios. We just trying to find a way to change scenarios. This goes out to all my people grinding for the doubt. Cause these are things that made me all me. Cause these are things that made me all me. Yeah, this the life I was raising. All the different crowns I gazed in. You see the time I was wasting. But I put my time into changing. Didn't know that these are things that made me all me. Cause these are things that made me all me. Yeah, this the life I was raising. All the different crowns I gazed in. You see the time I was wasting. But I put my time into changing. This the hard life in a sequence. Sure they taking calls on the weekend, and they diving head first off the deep end. While they brothers kill each other over beefing. While the cops taking lives in the precinct. So the kids fell in graves over regions, and their mothers said they crying and grieving. So if things really change with the thinking, I separate lies from the fiction. They're killing us all with addictions, or perpetrate lies for convictions, and persecute all my intentions. So I give it my all, I let it be heard. I put it in songs, I let it be known that this shit is wrong, that this shit is wrong. We just tryna find a way to change scenarios. This goes out to all the hoods, ejects the barrios. We just tryna find a way to change scenarios. This goes out to all my people grinding for the doubt. Cause these are things that made me all me. Cause these are things that made me all me. Yeah, this the life I was raised in. All the different crimes I engaged in. The time I was wasting. But I put my time into changing. You know that these are things that made me all me. Cause these are things that made me all me. Yeah, this the life I was raised in. All the different crimes I engaged in. The time I was wasting. But I put my time into changing.